moved back to Atlanta to work with the Southern Christian Leadership Conference in 1961. I had to be relocated when they put I-20 through, and that was in about 1966. So I left my house on Veltri Circle and moved out to Cascade. It was a neighborhood that flipped from predominantly white to predominantly black. But I could only see it then as a natural process. The family from whom I bought my home for $32,000. It's got almost 2 acres of land. My only complaint about the neighborhood is that we don't have sidewalks.
Yeah, for me, Cascade Heights, I've been here my whole life, and it's been the same story. It's an underserved community. We don't have a lot of the resources that you see when you go north, when you go east.
We have an abundance of trees, but they're big trees and they're old, and throughout the neighborhood, we seem to have a lot of ivy. And when the ivy starts growing up trees, eventually it'll kill it. I think that's happening now more than ever before, because almost every time there's a hard rain or wind, a tree somewhere breaks off and it pulls the power down. And it would seem that between Georgia Power and the neighborhood, we ought to be able to get together and do a campaign to save the trees.
Some things I feel like need to be changed here in the Cascade Heights area and the community is addressing the mental health and accessibility and raising awareness and support in the disability community out in this area. I think that that's something that I don't see a lot of. I am not originally from this area, but being here for the last 2 years, it's something that I've noticed a big difference from coming from Gwinnett side and Stone Mountain area.
I tend to think that the increase in crime in our neighborhood is because people are not in school and they're not working, and you have too many people with too little to do. And I think that as a society, as the schools open up and get a little more active, as the activities in the neighborhood pick back up, I hope that we will do it in such a way that it will lead to a lessening of crime.
I think you wouldn't see a lot of the homelessness. You wouldn't see the crime, which is not at a level that they say it is, but you wouldn't see all of these issues if they were addressed on the mental level. Starting as young as the elementary, going up to middle, all the matriculation through school, and continuing even after school.
Hiding and pretending like it doesn't exist, or throwing people in, giving them tickets or putting them in jail, or just writing them off as just homelessness. It's more than that. There's always a root to a problem. There's always more to an addiction. There's more things that we need to be talking about and making sure that we're supporting the organizations, the churches, and giving them those type of resources, connecting us to resources to be able to help and support.
That's where it starts. And then giving that education. We don't know what everything that the city council and elected officials can do, won't do, or are willing to do, but they need to come voice that and tell us what actually changes that they can make. And if they're not the ones to talk to, who's next?
We've got to start dealing with crime at the top, at the presidency. We have a national government right now that's in session defending a riot at the Capitol. And you can't be for it when it's in your neighborhood, against it in your neighborhood, and overlook it or ignore it when it's happening somewhere else. A democracy has got to be based on truth. And we have a number of people right now that don't want to face the hard truths about our society.
My ear is always open. I'm always out here walking these streets, talking to people to see what is really needed. You know, I have my perspective, but you talk to somebody who lives down the street, they have a whole different perspective. First of all, we're starting with the Cascade Heights Indie Market. And this wasn't only an opportunity for business owners, small business owners, to come in and showcase their products and services, but this was to revive this community. This was to show that things are happening over here. We're here to try to change the narrative and try to change the outlook and the resources that are here for Cascade Heights.
I think having a market, as a mom, being able to bring my kids, I'm a mother of 6, and they get to see people that look like them, and they're spending money, they're selling products, they are engaged in the community, they're learning all of these different things that they're not learning in school. Like, this is tangible, this is stuff you don't learn every day. This is stuff they're not learning K through 12 necessarily. Like, these are actual opportunities where my kids get to see entrepreneurs, that they get to see themselves in different avenues. I want you to see it. I want you to see people that look like you doing more, serving each other, because that is what's going to change things. Education, as you talked about before, is educating them.
I would hope that Cascade Heights would be able to work with its teachers, its law enforcement officers, its healthcare workers, to be a self-sufficient community. We ought not need to lean on anybody else, but we could get some sidewalks.